Hello, Kapung. Well, I guess I can see that we've had success from yesterday, that all of you folks are back here today. So hallelujah for that. That's a really, really good sign. As I was thinking last night about what we had experienced together yesterday, some of the thoughts that came to mind, but maybe if I could just share a little bit this morning. I was reminded of some of the work that is always percolating in my mind. The kind of stuff that I've done some work on has to do with ali'i. And a lot of these ali'i kind of live in the back of my mind in some way or another. And it dawned upon me yesterday that in many ways, what we have here is much like what Haho had established long ago. So he's like a generation before Kika'ea, and Haho lived on Maui. And one of the incredible innovations that he had established was this notion of an ahai, the gathering of all the different chiefs from the different regions and districts of Hawaii. And actually, at that time, the concept of Hawaii hadn't even yet been established, because Ma'i Kukaki would come some 8 generations later. But in any case, Haho had this concept of an ahali, gathering of all these different leaders. And what we learned from that is that there was a sense of protocol that was established, a sense of decorum, a sense of what was considered pono in those conversations. And I'm talking to a whole lot of people here who live this in their daily lives. So I don't think I need to have us kind of imagine what are those points of decorum and protocol that might have been alive and well in the ahali. So I look to you right now, in many ways, as the ahali of our people. And I know we could add many more. There are many more very, very beloved and respected leaders of our people who are not in this room. But there are many, many beloved and respected leaders of our people who are in this room. And I hope we all enjoy the fact of being able to look at one another and appreciate being in the presence of all of these incredible people. So mahalo, just as one karakata to another, I mahalo you for giving me that honor and privilege to even be here with you. I'm also reminded of Umi Aviloa, and of course we know the famous story of Umi and his older, more sacred, more royal brother, Hakau. And I'm reminded of how much each of you had that sense of Umi within you. Me too. You know, the sense of, we're going to go for what's pono. And even if we have to ku'e to get there, that's really important to us. We have to sometimes do that. But we have to remember that the way Umi did it was he built a very strong coalition, and he had a whole lot of support. Let's try and build those coalitions today. Let's try and build that support so that we can together move forward. And that's really the theme of today. And if you look at the agenda, just to give you a kind of a brief overview of what's going on, the big question for today, if you look at the 1, 2, 3, 45 slot, how can we all move forward together along the various pathways to rebuilding our nation? How do we get that to coalesce into one pathway? Or how do we get the pathways not to collide with one another? That's really the main question. And as we were hearing yesterday, the need for unity, the need for rokahi, it came out in so many different ways in behavior. We see it so beautifully this morning. Mahalo nui to all of our meoli who inspired us this morning in the ways that really touched on how, you know, how do we move forward together? That's the big question. And maybe that's what we were seeking, that pono path. What is that pono path? I'm also reminded about our greatest chiefs. Manokulanipo, Kapuhihewa, Kiawikahe, Lokomoku. And when you look at why those 3 chiefs never had a single war during their reigns, it had everything to do with their ability to create meaningful relationships. Many of them in those cases through marriage, those kind of really strong bonds. But when you see us in this room, we have that. relationships that tie us in meaningful ways to one another. And it was through this diplomacy and these meaningful relationships that all of these beloved renowned chiefs were able to go through their reigns without a single battle. So, I call upon you today to aspire to those highest ideals that these Ali before us gave us. And with that, let me turn over the time to Uncle Les, who's going to offer us a pudding to truly get started.
Hello, my kako. I'm proud to be in the presence of the Papakai Ohana, the families of the sea. I'm proud to be among the families of the Uku Aku Aku, the polyps of the sea. Hanau ika papa Uku Aku Aku. I come here to ask so that you both look me in the eye. Forgive me if I said anything wrong. Not easy to do one today. I have no word calls. I don't know what is a who. Someplace underneath this table, get the spirit, the honey. And I need to move the furniture. I'm looking for the furniture. I like talking in parables. I like talking in common. But if I made a mistake, I can change it. Hey. Come, I run and snare all the baby money. Pretty soon the collier will go and come and go and pick you up from the kayak, from the papa. Yeah, the one with fly to Siberia. Now we'll come back here. Malahini, Kamaina. And we'll eat all the baby money from the papa. Those March, April, and May. I like the money when the sun come up, so that you can see the scales start turning green and black. All the stages. I like the akuli, the ball. This is the ball. With the ina. I put up fish stock. Makena style. Pili moloki, pili kahoolami. Skip, where you? Yeah. Collect. Mekai. Brothers. Mekai. That's my pulley. That's our pulley. No offense. But you know what? I'm proud to be here today. You know what? I get in antsy. I get in bored. With no more action. Time for action. not action. You know what I miss, Puli? Okiakoa? Thank you for bringing us guys here. Thank you for bringing us to Hale Po, the dark room, where we can talk story in the dark. My guy, we can talk story in the dark. We can see each other without the light come on. Boom. And on May 17, when the Hokulea and barangays go around the island, around the world, you know what everybody going to do? We're going to turn our lights off. All Hawaii. Click. Turn the lights off. Why? So that the Hokulea can see the stars. My God. You know what I mean, eh? So that our electric bill don't need paid that much, yeah? Turn them off and don't even make somebody else get rich. Okay, accept our prayer. Accept our prayer so that how we can focus on our sharing manako. Ho'o la hui, ho'o ulu, ho'o aina. Everything we can kuka among our endangered self. We are an endangered species. Teach us how to create barriers. Teach us to the efforts and to go to Alaloa and to help us support each other when we need food. Teach us how to talk in big groups and what we want next. Teach us so we can work in the afternoon or the morning. Teach us so we can break out into groups like of the fish. Talk simple. I don't know the words, but I'm going to tell you what. Okay, cool. You pray for us today. It might take a long time. But pray for us. But when we leave this holy hole, guess what? We allow each other. My cousin. They call him mine. We love each other. Pulikako. Okay, we thank you so much. Thank you so that we can be knowing, aggressive. Thank you so that we can be meeting, paying attention. Aim what we're going to do. Bless us so that we can go lower, go into the distance. Bless us so that we can be peeling. You know how to peel, grab what we need to take care of each other. Help us to be icky, to go between the cracks, so that at that places nobody can go. Go deep. Find out how we can help each other and separate, throw away the egos. Just keep us guys fish. I eat the ear eat me. I eat the ear feed my generation. Hey. Eat enough fish. Muli. Bring the two bowls together. Como. The generation going. In my Okoa. I'm so glad I'm with all of you folks. Uku ako, Papagai Ohana, the families of the sea. Amen.
Chair of the Board of Trustees of the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, Colette Machado.
Yesterday morning, I began by telling you a story when I saw Kaliko outside, and I told him, mercy rule today. And today I tell you folks, let's get ready to rumble. And I tell you that in earnesty, as straightforward as possible, that by the time we leave this afternoon, we're going to know what side of the room we sit. And that's the kind of clarification we're hoping to go. We're not going to have, I cannot say we're not going to host any more of these governance summits, but our obligation was supposed to have ended on the Ekolu, but now we extended it to Eha because we had insufficient time to actually share with everybody. But we did that yesterday. We got over some rough edges, and today we want to leave with some conclusive direction and people showing their colors. You know what that means, right? What does that mean when we want to see your colors?
Hawaiian.
We go in, out, up, down. That's the kind of direction. So that's why, in my expression, but at the same time, we like Uncle Les said, we have aloha. Where's my beautiful sister, Moani? I know I called her, you know what, yesterday.
Yeah,
but you know, sometimes, yeah, and I did more than that, but sometimes we have to be a little bit more sensitive. If not Oha, where would all of the others that have been chastised as being on the fringe? Where would your voices have been heard? It would have been on the streets or inside the rooms that people would not be attending. If not OHA, who would be leading certain aspects of inclusiveness? If not OHA, what framework would we be trying to work for? Even if you show up at our statewide meetings, Moani, and you bust us up, we still are obligated to do the work to get the word out. Whether you agree with our direction or our principles or our policies, that is our obligation. But if not OHA, who, I ask you, where would all of your voices be? Both those on the fringe as well as those who have been wedded with their philosophies and their positions, and those that have been serving the people in their capacity for generations. Where would you be? Today, for the last 4 sessions and for today, we have come together to kuka. You know, I grew up in a period where I was blessed to be mentored by Auntie Frenchie Di Soto, and her famous line was, Colette, we go kuka, kuka to we kukai. And today is that kind of legacy. Today is that kind of legacy that we're going to get ready to rumble. And no matter what side of the fence where we're going to be, at least we know our true colors. And that's what's important as we leave for the end of today. So I say that to you folks with my deepest aloha. And I was trying to use an explanation yesterday. Because we're hosting these meetings, when you come my house, I'm going to make sure my house clean. You're going to get good sheet, towel all ready to go, the food going to have, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to feed you when you walk in. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you, may I. Help yourself to the icebox. Family, you just open, you know, ask for permission. And whatever is there, you know, talk. You just take what you are provided for. And that's what I meant by hosting. Not that you folks are not included, that this is your holiday too. And that's my debate with Moani. You know where your positions are as a Native people. But as a resident elected official, as trustees and our staff, we invite you to join us here in our holi. We host you with Mayor I. We host you with some comfort, even if you need the punch number to get to the lure. But nonetheless, you know, we host you and we welcome you folks in our aloha, in our manner as the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. So that's my whole point I wanted to make to Moani. We don't disagree with that, but sometimes, you know, the puhi or the pau, you know, you like talk more. So I'm not going to apologize for her because she was beating me up too much and I couldn't take it. At some point I got to say, enough already, enough. Get up to here. Okay, mahalo nui.
Trustee, all in all, Hana, trustee, all in all, Hana. All one, Hana.
That's right.
Answer from OHA on the 2 issues that you feel are roadblocks
Well,
for participation.
Walter, we're going to have a lot of time later on to do that.
Talking to the trustee. We need to know when we can get an answer on the timetable, so we can extend this
I
time.
can only tell you that I have heard, I have been advised, we have an ad hoc committee that I have already been in dialogue. There's been a memo that has come from the ad hoc committee chair. I can only tell you that in our process, we will be dialoguing. We will have to agendize a discussion and have a meeting with the ad hoc committee and move forward. A little bit slower than what you would want. You're not going to get the answer today. That's all I'm going to tell you. You're not going to get the answer to it.
Who's on the
I have already been engaging on how to bring that to the table. Moani,
Who's on the ad hoc committee?
the ad hoc committee, it's not private information. The chair is Haunani Apoliona, Trustee Apoliona, and the vice chair is Trustee John Wahe in the fall. Nelson.
Trustee, I want to say thank you very much for putting on this event and trying to unite all of our people. What's really important is understanding the truth and justice for crimes and criminal wrongdoings for over 121 years is the focus. The most focused point that we all need to understand. We all have to rise above and understand that level. We've been mistreated, cheated, abused, and the heavens on us. We need to cast that. What I like to say to everybody, mahalo for everybody showing. I came from Maui. I respect Chair's position as well. Coming out, putting this event together with all of the respect to all of you guys. We know this ain't perfect, but we gotta make it perfect. We all got one thing to do, and it's the right thing. We cannot cheat our kids anymore. Okay, and no hold back. Whatever in the heart, let it out, because we cannot. Enough is enough. And I like to write. I'm ready to rumble. That's the easy part. I just don't think I'm medical. You know, but it's not the point.
No, it's just a metaphor that we It's just get to business. That's what the metaphor means.
But thank you very much.
Okay.
I was kind of quiet yesterday.
Let's take
I got one real bugging concern. Yeah. My wife talked to me. Kekaha Hawaiian Home State Civic Association. One woman told her, who is Kekani Pa? She told him her husband. Asked me if I went out to Hawaii. The wife said, no, he's with LHG. You know what the Hawaiian went tell my wife? You're getting funding, $2,500 a month. $2,500 to go out and register people in the home states for the road commission. And whatever amount of number that they get, without expending the rest of that $2,500, they can go back and get another $2,500. The rest of that money goes to the association for money to register people to extinguish our Aboriginal land title ownership and exterminate our identity. I'm here today, we're going to hammer this thing up. Because, with respect to you, you know the recall again. Huh?
Yes.
That part no lie. The ending of the 2 sessions we had, you made it clear, trustee. We're going to move forward together, but you guys got a path of your process. You invite all of these Pulan leaders to hammer this thing out. At the end of the hearing, you turn around and tell our people, whether you like it or not, we're going to do this. This is John Waihee. Okay? John Waihee is the governor. I believe he was the one that helped to create OHA. Yeah? Who is the guy representing us? I'm very disappointed in this because I understand what's going on. Now, if we don't come together, people.
Right.
How many of you guys watched that movie about the football games? When the people, the black and white, don't come together, they're all going to be like the rest buried. Today, we don't come together. I'm changing this process and not allowing all to move forward. And we find another process that can provide an election the end of September of next year. We're done. I'm not bullshitting you guys. We freaking done. Don't tell me that we need more time to discuss how this future will be. I will tell you guys what's going to happen. It's gone. They're going to run this thing. They're going to take them to the civic all over the world. 68 civic clubs. We're never going to be elected into this process. I will tell you guys what I see. That's why I tell you what's going to happen. They're going to control them. Now, if you guys never listen and learn what Prime Minister Noah and share, that's the destiny. Whether you agree or disagree with him, run for the office, run for the Prime Minister, run for the nobles and representatives, it'll come out. The opportunity, we can provide one process that we all can elect our people. And don't tell me you cannot do them. If you think you can handle, register and have the people vote you in, because I'm going to tell you right now, you guys don't understand what they're doing. We all going to be informed to our children. Gone. I'm not bullshitting you guys. Today we're going to hammer this thing out. It's the last time I'm going to come here. Because I'm going to tell you, Kauai understand what we're talking about. That's why OHA not going to come to each island to have a Hawaiian government process panel to let the people come listen. Like I was asked a question yesterday. All you guys went up in the front. No disrespect. I love all you guys. I love every one of us. But you guys never answered my question. Hawaiian government process. The apology view identifies who the proper claimant is. It didn't tell me that it's Oha. It didn't tell me that it's John Waihe. It told me it's the lawful government of Hawaii. And we here talking about our queen. Yeah, we're going to honor our queen. But nobody talk about the lawful government, the queen will preserve our inherent right to restore. That pisses me off. I'm sorry, but I still love you guys. But this thing, I'll tell you right now today, if we don't come together like the Triton said, we dead. I tell you guys right now, we freaking dead. They're taking it all away. I get road package. We all get road package. I'm going to share something with you guys. Kalamai.
No.
My tutu will leave the road package to my father's youngest brother. Gave him to me. Gave me all the pala. I went to the mayor of Kauai and the planning department. I said, I'm going to sit down, we're going to handle this issue here. It talks about road package, not talking about city lands. Yeah? I said, I'm willing to pay the taxes according to you recognize my road package. You know what? It's been 15 years today. They never removed my family off the property. I never paid 1 penny of their taxes to the occupier because I have original plans. Maps, what you want to talk, where you want to go. Okay? They have an issue on this thing. Now, if we not come together again, it's the only thing I did for my kids. You roll back then, kiss them goodbye. You guys kiss them goodbye. Remember, we the guys here would neglect our kupuna, neglect our appeals. We neglect the makua. We neglect everybody because we here, we can make a change. And the change is not to have OHA continue their process. Yeah, to tell me my self-determination or you as a U.S. process. When I tell you guys from U.S., I understand. Once we consent, yeah, the United States could turn around and say the Hawaiians finally would agree that we gave up our lands for federal recognition. In return, we're going to give you monetary status. Think about it.
Thank you.
Kaya kalai bukan maila ayala mau ina hono bila ni nuia kama kaula na noe harea kala bukan maila ke pikia kana loa kalai hano kiala itahi ikia kola no ila ikaula la au bua ela ke alo hako pehe ikika pama moloka ila bulio o e o ke ne o kapu e kui wale o kale kala ni hali kana ni makawa o mano kala ni ko mano ke ni o hili tili mai la ni hau kai no ka hele ni dai la yu hia we makula ni una kamana o na bole hua mala hua kala ina ko na e I just wanted to bring everybody's focus back together. Mahalo.
It says, Ahali of Umi. Hakau is out there, yeah? Hakau is out there. Kapohana. Oh.
Hello, can you hear me on that side?
Yeah.
Just bring your stuff over here. Come back. Make like get home. Come here.
Okay, sorry, I'm using this modern
That's why throw that away.
equipment. I need it for notes. You know, when you get older, sometimes you need to write your mana'o down because sometimes the brain isn't as sharp. So I am Leoli Khan, and I have sat here patiently listening to everyone. So I'm going to ask you to patiently listen to me for a minute. Yesterday, I heard a lot of disagreement with the Native Hawaiian role. So what I want to do is remind us that that role didn't get started by Governor Abercrombie. It got started by an introduction of a bill at the legislature by 4 Native Hawaiians.
The wrong ones with the wrong
He,
leaders.
I listened to you, so please give me that respect. Senator He, Galanteria, Kahele, and Ryan. And in addition, it was implemented by Native Hawaiians.
No.
Now, we say we're all family. I listen here, and many of you in the independence groups, you know I've been to some of your meetings because I like to learn. I like to know where you're coming from. I like to find out where those of us who may not yet be in tune with that understand where you're coming from, and we can consider it, because that's a respectful thing to do. We heard earlier today, we can agree to disagree. We're not going to get the 100% solution. We're not going to leave with 100%, because many of us have been grounded in this for years, and we have very strong, passionate feelings. Brother, you have strong, passionate feelings.
Facts.
And I love you. That's right. What I'm saying is, this is fact. It was under Abercrombie. He signed the bill.
He signed it.
He signed
He
it.
empowered
But it was
That's fact.
Hawaiians behind it. And think about it.
Stop Hawaiians. State the facts, please. You can just stand there and just say crap. That's the point. Look how I'm like, you should trade crap it up.
So, brother,
Speak the facts.
listen, I might have said,
Hawaiians.
that's right.
None of crap. It's not Hawaiians.
That's
We're
not.
just all legislators. Thank you. None of crap.
He signed the bill, yes, but behind of it and starting. And let's think about those Hawaiians. They're not here to explain.
Why did I hear? Why are you scared of their people?
Is this how our conversation is going to go over the next years? Are you not going to respect others to express your opinion and
This is the
listen?
microphone.
I listened to you, so I ask you to give me that same respect. So bottom line is that, and I don't really understand, and I'd like to learn from you, why you would not be inclusive, the 100,000 or so who signed up.
Because I'm not children.
Because
I can be
in my mind,
let me be 18 on the
why
road.
not take advantage of that role? Do we not want to be inclusive of all Native Hawaiians, not those who favor one way or the other, but all Native Hawaiians, and educate all of them on all sides, and empower each one of our people to make their own decisions?
They didn't sign up though. Tell the truth. They didn't sign up. They were taken through Hawaii law without any free prior informed consent. They didn't sign up.
Okay, stop
Tell
already.
the truth. Tell the truth. They didn't sign up. Don't tell me 100,000 people
She's
signed
trying to
up.
explain something. Everybody had their piece.
Don't be a
So let them talk, man. No interrupt.
Hallelujah.
Polole.
Don't be a bully.
I'm gonna sell my picture on the road.
That's right.
Where's the bed? You want to go back to the bed? No, I really care. I want you better now.
Mahalo, I said, oh my
You stole the fun yesterday.
Where's that bed? I want to jump in there too. Oh my God. What's that sound?
Welcome all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, you and I know, we all know that we've been through years of suppression, colonization, and as a result of those years of a loss of our kingdom, our culture on the brink, the disillusionment of what we thought was the truth, and only now we coming into better enlightenment on the facts. There is a lot of hihia and wounds in our community. that we need to repair, okay? And OHA has been part of that here, that pilikia, okay? I acknowledge it. So it is equally our responsibility to be part of the healing process. Now, there are facts, okay, and my second community meeting was in Keaukaha. Was it Wednesday? Wednesday.
Tuesday.
No, it was Wednesday. It was Tuesday. Tuesday, you're right. No, that's a fact. But you was there. We got boss up. We got boss up. Right.
I complimented Ola.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
you,
That's
Ola.
right. That's right.
That film that you guys did at KGMB, I was proud of you guys,
Yeah.
and I complimented you.
Right.
In spite of the fact that you got fucked up.
Right.
Coming out, oh, you belong on this side of the road.
No, don't make me start juicing. Well, what I heard that night is exactly what I'm hearing today.
Right on.
That's right.
A lot of distrust. OHA has been part of that distrust. Not enough transparency of what this process is all about. Not enough education or opportunity for people to be educated on what the choices are.
Absolutely.
Timeline for this process is too quick to fully inform our people.
Absolutely.
But also what I heard at the end, and a kupuna said it, is lava already. Enough of the arguing and ripping each other down. We gotta stop that, okay? And this kupuna was really referring to, even with our differences, we gotta come together. We gotta unite. We gotta unite somehow to understand and put it in a context where our people can understand. You know, a lot of the kupuna there, a lot of homestead people, they worried about homestead, what this process would how it would affect them and their kids, you know, not enough jobs, you know. This process is too Oahu-centric. Honolulu making too many other decisions. We need to get out into the neighbor islands. We need to include all of those communities, you know. But I heard this kupuna talk about unity and unifying, and the need to educate. You know, in the front row, must have had about 16 OPO. They must have been like 15 to 18, 20 years old.
And one of them was my daughter.
And I really appreciated it because they wanted to know, you know. Some of them, they never even heard about the 1993 rally. They wasn't even there. You know, they never heard of the 8 sec. They never heard of Aho, Hawaii. Some of them probably never even heard about, you know, the Kaho'olawe experience. But you know what, they're sitting in these meetings, listening to us, and it's reinvigorating them. It's like, wow, our people went through a struggle.
Yeah.
So you can imagine all of the here we carrying on, and they don't have that. So they're looking at us with a whole new lens. You know, I'm not one politician. You know, I'm not one attorney. You know, my background really is in healing work. Okay? And I attribute that to, you know, a number of great kupuna, some alive, some not. At the Abinapiahi from Keokaha, Rokakoa was Howard Bear, you know, Richard Linet Pudinawan, Ron Kava'a, Dennis Kawahi, and Timalia Creva. So that's the strength I bring to OHA and our community. When do we begin a healing process? And this can be a great opportunity for OHA. I think we have to listen a lot. Listen a lot. Now, I will say is that this process is not a perfect process. But those who have concerns about it, you need to express that to the trustees. You know, your voices need to be heard. I think what we need to begin coming together is what can we agree on? We agree on is that we need to take hold of our own destiny. Okay? We need to. Okay? How we get there is the process. How we get there. Because get many canoes on how to get there. We can agree on the illegal overthrow. We can agree on the Newlands resolution, and illegal annexation. We can agree that Hawaii was taking off the list of decolonization, the list, you know. But what I'm hearing is in Keokaha, the people want all of the information. They want all of it.
You made a mistake coming out because there was no annexation.
Well, okay, I'm not going to disagree with you, but I think that's what. Okay, I agree with you that there wasn't an annexation. All I'm saying is that
as long as you're spewing that kind of thing as facts, you're making our people confused. There was no annexation.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that that's pieces of information out there that people are sharing. Yeah, and that we need to clarify.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to clarify. Yeah.
Merci beaucoup. Not mercy.
Yeah. See, and that's if you think we can change it here, you can imagine how in our community, the people who don't know, they will be more confused.
Especially Americans.
Yeah.
You gotta know where they are.
So, what I want to share is that we, perhaps rather than looking at our differences, in order to get to unity or unified, and sometimes we may not be fully unified, is that we got to get over the trust. We got to get over the trust. And usually trust is a process of building the relationship. Okay, I'm going to get to you, Uncle. I just need to share some things. In order to get to the trust, what I do know is we got to come full with some honesty, you know, full of honesty, and what you guys asking, you know. I can tell you, yes, the Act 195 was not all. We never even had input into that. Yes, it was Hawaiian legislators. It was signed by Abercrombie. You know, we were forced. OHA was forced to fund it. OHA was forced to fund it.
No, that's a good definition about, that's the problem. If you're not involved, and then you gotta get these mandates, that's not going on.
No,
Okay.
they did it.
But that people being honest.
Yeah, we were forced to fund it. Okay. They are not here.
Right?
But I think if we move forward with continued Kamawa'ea, I think that they need to be part of this forum so that they fully understand.
And the forum should be continued.
And that's one of my big concerns. Why you're not sitting at this table listening to us as a forum? Because right now, it's truth that is done.
No. Well, we will talk about that. We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that. You know.
I'd like to unsnare our minds real quickly because you touched on the most critical and I think the pivotal element, and that is honesty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crucial.
Now there are three things that OHA and Kalamai, I'm not being hostile, I'm being critical, but in the context of honesty, this needs to be said here. All of our minds has been ensnared
Yes.
by OHA.
Like
They
this.
want the term nation building. We're an occupied country. We already built the nation. Okay? Point one. Point two. I originally was going to ask key people in this room to legally define the word sovereignty. But then I realized, you know what? That would be, people would think I'm being hohoyo. I'm not trying to be hohoyo. I'm trying to be very real. So I will read off to you 6th edition Black's Law Dictionary. The legal term for sovereignty is the supreme, absolute, and uncontrollable power by which an independent state is governed. Now you tell me, how many times have you heard in this meetings the word sovereignty being thrown out at us? So this whole process, the objectives, the pontification, the articulation that if we go ahead and have this so-called AHA, if we sign our names to the Kanayu Oluwalu, that we're going to have some kind of sovereignty. No, I'm not stupid. Please do not insult me. And I'm not, again, I'm not being hostile.
No, you'll come on this side of the room. Come here.
No, let him speak.
And the third thing that we need to ensnare our minds from is the term independence. Okay? Independence. The state or condition of being free from dependence, subjection, or control. Now, within this model that's being pursued, are we going to be free? No. This nation within the nation model will not give us sovereignty, will not give us independence. So, please, OHA, in the context and in the fairness of honesty, you need to start talking to the community honestly. Stop the propaganda. Stop trying to ensnare our minds. And quite frankly, it's like a rape victim. You rape our minds. And then you say, no, you're not, this is good for you. If we continue to go down this path right now, what you saw in Iraq, the passion, the defense, and Ms. Khan, with all due respect, what Kalikoa and all the folks were trying to express, and I myself, okay, I have my notebook off, so, okay, just so you know. The Hawaiian Homes Act. You know how many times Maui people have come to me, howdy, locals say, Hawaiian Homes Act is discriminatory. And I go around and I say, you're right, it is. Well, you guys Hawaiians, you guys didn't go make the Hawaiian Homes Act. He says, no, he didn't. Yeah. And then I get Hawaiians on the Hawaiian homelands say, hey, bro, who here? You know what? Hey, you went fight for us. I say, yeah, but understand something. In 1920, Kuhio was only a representative of a territory. He could not vote. His vote did not count. Symbolically, he could vote. But the one who could cast it into law was the all Malahini Haole Congress, both in the House and the Senate. Okay, the one who could pass it into law was the Haole president. So Hawaiians can know that. The 50%.
No, I agree with you.
And that's what we're talking about with all these actions.
But Foster, I will tell you real, because we did meet with people and representatives from DHHL. They get their own manao on the perpetuation of their land.
No, I understand. We need
yeah, so we gotta include them in the discussion. All I'm saying is that we may be technically agreeing on that history, but they get their own manao on how they want.
The conversation, everybody has to be included in the conversation. No one has to be
the right one.
Right. Okay, wait. Okay, I gotta get to that uncle right there because he had his hand up.
Mahalo. So I'm still our minds from all those terms. Good or false?
Okay, we have to hear.
no problem. Please. And even if you don't go, problem. Okay. I was listening and then about I'm going to example now. What the thing is, you know, people. You know what is people? The people. Get three guys is all people, but get three different people. Get outside the people are you, and then get the people locker. Okay? The people locker. I'm gonna tell you this. Number one people in the world will walk up to the cowboy and tell him, brand me the bucket of salt. You know what I mean? Number one people in the world when they do it getting branded, they get burned in the bucket of salt. The people are you. They saw a cowboy. They say, fuck him. Okay. Wait a minute now. You're talking honesty. The mistrust is the people on you will never trust the people locker. People locker never enjoy getting ready. But wait, now here's the people here, guys. Get the third people. It's too sorry now. It's the people when get branded for taking the free food. You don't need to go out in the pasture no more. You just hang inside the park and he will eat. So the people are you. I don't worry the people lock up. They're low. But the people that took the brand for Afghanistan, for Vietnam, for all of these issues, for take the money from the federal government, that's the people scare me. Because he's going to sell out his soul already, but money for the money. So I think if we can honestly say what people you are, I think we're going to be more. I tell you, honesty is the best policy. Okay? So you want to make a sign, people are you, people lock up without recognition, and people lock up. We take the brand, we'll take the bread. I tell you, I cannot impress upon you enough that there is certain Hawaiians and those 4 legislators you speak of. It's not very impressive. I wouldn't say it. I speak to myself. I'm like good friends, but I wouldn't go around breaking as my friend. I wish we can understand. If you honest with yourself, and you know it, you need to pray. Raise your hand. But you stupid. I don't do it. I thought you fault. You just went, but the cowboy, the panel, that's you, keep my cool. And then he brand new. You could not help. We call it annexation. You could help that. But people, they take a brand. They look at the people, the other people, you know they don't know. You know they make a deal with the cowboy. Move. But the people lock up. That's why the people are you. They have book. They're not a book for nothing. I think if you want to start honest, you must tell me, you know, I don't like saying name, but I know there's certain associations that give me for the bread. You know what I mean? And the benefit of those who can understand the 501c3 process. But you know, like he was talking about the Ahadi. I like to see them homeless. I'm not representing here either. So that we can have an honor is based upon the economic velocity. You know what I mean? We know each other. I'm talking about the general masses who have not had a celebrity status. For financial consideration.
for Skippy. No, no.
You forgot the fourth pipi.
The fourth.
Pipi dog.
Okay. Lava, Mr. Daluwai.
Aloha. I'm Punasaw Malua'i. I've heard about these meetings. This is the first one I've attended. I have some concern about the Olovalu. This process, and there's other processes. OHA has another registration process. Camp School has one. The civic clubs have one. But all of these processes have either been legislated or authorized or approved by the occupant. The United States government, through the United States government, to the state, which is one of their, which is also part of the occupancy, and OHA, who is an agent and employees of the state, are also part of the occupancy. And so this whole process, when I was asked to sign that, I said, oh, because what keeps coming to my mind is the Neli Ai Pohaku, Aoia, Ai, Kau Ikapulima, Aluna Okapepo Oka enemy. I will not put my signature to the paper of the enemy. And I will not sell my country down there. But in order to have a truly I don't know what the term would be, but a truly pure process of registration, it would have to be something without any control, without any, with complete freedom and complete independence from any of the occupants. The federal government, the state government, county government, including OHA, because OHA is part of the occupants. And so the only process I would put my signature to would be a process that was created by the people. And if all the other registration processes want to add to that, that's fine, because for my mind, there's only two categories of people that should be able to participate and vote in any process such as this. One would be descendants of the Aboriginal Hawaiians, through Koko, through the blood. And the other would be descendants of those naturalized as Hawaiian kingdom citizens who went through the process for the expatriation. No, before you naturalize, they have to go through the expatriation process and give up the citizenship of their mother country and become a naturalized citizen of the Hawaiian kingdom.
Right.
Those are the only, and those are a lot of people without Koko.
Right.
And those are the only two categories of people that should be eligible in this process. Hawaiians with a Koko and naturalized citizens without a Koko. And so a process for registration has to come out of the grassroots, the people like all the people here, not through any legislative or authorized or approved process by the applicant. I wanted to say something else about someone who's talking about the Akaka bill. The Akaka bill was a process under the political status of integration, which is nothing more than dependency as a word under the controlling government. And the Akaka bill was an integration process. And through the Akaka bill, the ali'inui of this governing entity, and I don't know why people keep referring to it as a governing entity. It's more like the Eskimo corporations under the control of the United States laws. But this process, the ali'inui under the Akaka bill process would have been the Secretary of Interior. And anything you do, if he doesn't like it or she doesn't like it, they'll throw it back in your face and say, do it again. That's not sovereign independence. And because the Akaka bill could not pass Congress All they did is they morphed it into a state version of the Akaka bill. So all this is a state version of the Akaka bill. Now, instead of the Secretary of Interior being your elite nui, now the governor is your elite nui. And if he doesn't like what you're doing, and the legislature doesn't approve it, he'll throw it back in your face and say, do it again.
That's what's happening.
Exactly. And so that process is heavy. The only process that I would put my signature to is a process of the grassroots people, where they register the two categories of people I mentioned, those with the poco, those descendants of naturalized, but it has to be documented. Without the documentation, even those naturalized would not be authorized to participate. I don't know what this process is, but I drafted something out, and I have a copy I wanted to leave it for, and if you can make copies to anybody who wants to read it. It's my now pathway to sovereign independence, and I call it the people's re-evolution process. Mahalo.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
So I get the sense is I want to spend some time to get to allow people to share, because it's no use we going to break out if we still like this. So let's allow some time for this. But all I ask is we be respectful to each other and allow each other to share them out. At some point, we probably going to have to take a break, and they kind of cool down and they come back. Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to call you Ohana, if I may, if you're not offended. You are my Ohana at some point in time. My name is Edward Kakalia, and I resided in California, Long Beach, California, for over 40 years. Now, I attended the meeting yesterday for the first time, and I listened and observed everybody's manao. And something was missing, something very important. And I'd like to give you a scenario of what's happening and the way I see it from a distance, yeah? If I can impose on you a vision of a boxing ring, yeah? With a boxer in the ring, he's in the red corner. This boxer is a 97-pound weakling. He's got a 100-pound glove on each hand. And he's, almost 100 years old. Okay? And every time an issue comes up, he's going to fight a good fight. He's in the red corner. And every time he fights, he wins. There's no opposition. And you, my Ohana, you guys are the audience that's observing this fight. Every time this guy wins, you guys get mad. And you guys go home, pissed off, mad, cussing him out. What I'm saying is, in the blue corner, there's nobody. Nobody's in the blue corner to support your fight. You didn't elect him. You didn't talk about putting somebody in the corner to defend you. But you bring your issues up. All your issues are valid. Take nothing away from you. All your history is valid. Take nothing from you. Yeah? But you have to identify what is happening here. You are the nation. Nothing's been taken away from you. The nation is still alive. It's still well. As a matter of fact, day before yesterday, I was in the library. I was checking the laws. The laws is still Hawaiian. It was extracted from the Hawaiian kingdom. They're using the very same laws that exist today from the Hawaiian kingdom. What he's lacking is a leader. We don't have a leader. We have the direction. Yeah, we have the direction. We all can chip in our own and help. We need a total agreement among the family. What we need to get started with is a leader that will take this in the blue corner to win the fight. Right on? Right on. Thank you.
I think I would agree with Uncle was saying we need leadership. But I think we still stuck on the process moving forward. So we need to talk about that process. Okay. I'm going to say that Leila's been waiting. So if you can come up and come over here and then share. Leila, then go be Leon, then Don, and then you.
This is the second year, really, that we've been involved in Kamau Ea. And what I see, and I've been a part of this for 30 years, I'm part of Leimomi's civic club. And when I talked about sovereignty, they thought I was nuts. You know, now everybody's using the word, right? If we want to win, those of us who are pro-independence, we need to get our act together. Begin today. What I see are the different groups are so in love with themselves, so entrenched, that nobody wants to give up a point, and we're going to lose our rear ends. You know, we have to learn to compromise. That's so important. When I looked at the OHA paper today, well, no, actually it was last night, I had a heart attack, okay? Really. Because this is one-sided. This is the town hall meetings. And if you notice, all the town hall meetings are in the homestead areas, pretty much. You know, where are the most Hawaiians? Not in the homestead areas. I mean, there are lots in Kaneohe, you know, and that's not here, in that section of the island. So I think we have to get our act together, we have to compromise. But OHA, we need to trust you to be fair. I wrote this up, and I hope that we will discuss this in our meetings today. I want to see in writing on the OHA trustee agenda, 1, that they will treat nationhood fairly, that all options will be on the table and clearly understood, and really to begin education at Kamana'o, you know it.
Yeah.
We should be taking a poll of the Hawaiian people to see where they are and where we have to fill in what is missing. That's how to really educate scientifically. Okay? 1, we will uphold the concepts and proposals presented by MANA. If you didn't get a copy of that, ask for a copy, because it's excellent. This came out of John Osorio and his group from the University of Hawaii and others, you know, other activists. Number 2, all interaction, forums, ads, etc., will include presentations, comments, materials by the independent groups. Number 3, the timetable for nationhood will be slowed to allow full education on our options, and we will take polls to see where the Hawaiians are. You know, why do you think the politicians use polls? Because they know how to win. And if we want to win, we have to use the polls scientifically too. Stop paying people to register Hawaiians in anything. If you want to create your nation, you should be loyal to that nation and be a part of it because it's in your heart, in your na'au. That's the way to join. in a nation, whatever the nation is going to be, and I hope it's going to be independent, okay? Number 5, set forums in areas other than homesteads. And I suggested, Kaniawi, if you look at the census, you can find out where the majority of Hawaiians are. So I would like to see this on the OHA trustee agenda so that we know we are not merely meeting here and being patted on the head. Mahalo.
You want to hold on to that?
No, I already made a copy.
Pete, can you hold on to this? They have others. So you'll be like, I think it was Leon? Leon?
Leon went back.
Okay, Don? Don, and then you. You will speak already, though, so we'll come back to you. Okay.
E nā kua na aumaku nā kupuna aloha kākou, aloha. My name is Don Wasson. I'm going to be 70 years old. I've been involved in the Hawaiian movement for over 30 plus years. And in all the years that we've gone to all the gatherings, and many of us have been involved in it for decades, it is time for us to do 2 things. Pass the knowledge on to the next generation and also empower them. We have to. We have no choice. We need to empower our young people. They have the heart, the spirit, and the knowledge. But we, the kupunas, are the connection to those who left us with the knowledge. Native knowledge. Nobody knows Hawaii than you. When I hear kupunas talk about the fish, nobody knows the fish than their own people who lived on this land for generations. Native knowledge teaching our children about the winds and about the papa, because guess what? When nature takes its course against us, they will see the signs and they will do something, be proactive. Before everybody who lives in Hawaii will know what's happening, the Hawaiians are gone. Because guess what? We, the kupunas, taught them how to predict these things. That is the mana that we have. We cannot give it up. You know, politics is like prostitution.
Yes.
Okay? And you know what? Only the women know who the true fathers are. Okay? So brothers, I don't care where you put them, but let me tell you. I don't care where you put them, guess what? We women, we know who we will spread for. And guess what? We take no hostages. I am proud to be a woman. I am proud to know that my country was led by women. Amo iwahine, Lili, Okalani, Kamakaeha. When I hear you say that the voting privilege was not given to women, it's not our country, it was America. It was America, not us. Because our people, our women, were the leaders. So were our men. But again, we know. I want to say to all of you who have been diligent in your journey, for and in behalf of our people, mahalo. Mahalo for your dedication. Mahalo for your sacrifices. Your children and grandchildren will be so proud that they're your descendants because they will sing your song. And if your song is not a song to be proud of, people's children will not marry us. They'll be too ashamed. So make your children and grandchildren proud. Stand strong, stand true to yourself and to your descendants. I always say I'm a woman from the bush. I live in the bushes. I'm 13.20 acres. And I am fighting for my kupuna's land. Now when Kana'i Elovalu came to Kualoa, I said to them, what about the rub patents and the land commission awards and the Kuleana and the Konihiki lands? What about them? Are you going to put these lands in your nation? Oh, no worry. And I said, oh, when somebody tell me no worry. I cannot join your nation. I cannot join your organization. I can only be connected to the nation of the Queen and no one else. When we give that up, do not even look for road patents and land commission awards. It ain't gonna mean a damn thing. It'll sit in the Bureau of Conveyance and collect dust. And a new nation comes. Let me tell you. I see it in my community now. 3 generations of Po'ehaole. Grandparents, parents, and children. What are they here for? Your land. And they write up deeds. And they sell it in between all these entities and make it like it really exists, and it doesn't. Against you. So what is the point? We must unite. We must. For the sake of our people. If not, our language dies. Our culture dies. Our people die too. Let this not happen. I am proud to be a kupuna. And I'm proud to know you. And to hear your voice too. And yesterday. And decades. And your voice has never gone into the wind. Inside the mana'o, and the pu'uvai, and the na'au of our people. A grandson stands in the corner of this building and listening. Not because of me, but he comes to watch you and ask himself, why did my tutu ask me to come? And I told him, I want you to come and to see your leaders, your people, come together as one. Whether we're independent or not, we must come together on the most important issues. And what is it? Land and water. Land and water. You control the water, you control the future. That's all Native people asked for. They didn't care for the money, the richness of everything. All they wanted was their land and their water. Without water, no land good for nothing. You know, can live. We must come together. I can't thank you all enough for your voice, for your spirit. Mahalo.
Kamehameha, Nakawa we'll get to you, Nelson. Okay. Oh, Leon, brother.
Aloha. Aloha, Kamako. This last 2 days has been really very, very encouraging to me because of the way that people have been able to express in Mana'o and what's going on. Even though we've come through some rough patches, and I think we still are stuck in a couple, I think this is a good way forward. And a lot has been said about unity and about uniting and about how do we bring these things together. Kamala Opono, I'm sorry that you weren't able to finish your presentation because you just got onto the point where I was thinking about it, and when you were talking about trust, and it's just starting to get on that. But I want to go back a little bit, and that we all know the narrative. We know what happened here. We know that the takeover, the usurpation of our kingdom was illegal. We also know that the annexation was patently illegal. There was no annexation. Thank you for correcting on that. And that statehood was also patently illegal because none of the things that followed either annexation or statehood would have been lawful. But what followed after the annexation, of course, was this long period of indoctrination. And the period of indoctrination had so much captured our people, so that even all of us, we really carried the brand. We were the people lockup. You know, we were all part of that. We were all branded when we were young. And it wasn't until in the last 20, 30, 40 years that we began to realize what we really were. And that we began to, despite the brand, to stand up and say, no, we're not part of that system. But it's a difficult thing because what has continued through the after indoctrination was the continued abuses, the continued abuse toward our people because of the assumption or the presumption by the United States that they have any kind of authority here. And because they have the police power, they're able to enforce that. You know, we're all forced to comply, except for those few who do not comply and they are thrown in jail or suffer some kind of consequences from that. So the problem we're having here, that I can see, is that when the U.S. went through all of their different steps to try to take over our country, the one thing that they left undone or unfinished, which they couldn't really finish, was the land. They couldn't actually clear title of the land. And so all of this has to do with how do we convince the Native Hawaiians, the Hawaiian nationals, whoever here comes to Hawaii, to sign on to some kind of a list that would imply that we have given permission to transfer our lands to the United States. So the transfer of lands is really the key of what's behind this particular Kanai'o effort. And to us, that is a very abusive thing, to try to get us to sign on to something that we know we will then surrender not only for ourselves, but for our posterity, for our descendants. It will transfer the lands by implication, not even a direct transfer. And we've seen this kind of implication with the transfer of signatures from one list onto another list. That's what's going to happen. If we sign on to anything that says that we partially agree with the direction of forming a nation under this. So the whole formation of a nation is really a red herring. It's really a way to get us to sign on a list. That list doesn't really mean we're going to form a nation. It means we're giving up rights to our lands. Now, when we're talking about trust, this is where the crux of it is, where we have all this hoopy between the independence groups and OHA and all that, is that there isn't trust. Now, how does one rebuild trust or reestablish trust? And we go to basically Malia Kramer taught all of us, ho'oponopono. You have to have this ho'oponopono, but in order to have that, somebody, whoever is causing the injury, has to stop causing the injury, because that would be a sign that there is some kind of a good faith effort on the part of the United States and State of Hawaii, etc., that they want to make this Pono. Because if you continue on, you say, well, we want to make it all Pono, but we won't stop injuring you. We won't stop trying to grab your land. We won't stop all of the practices that injure you. Then where is the trust? And so right now, the lack of trust is actually quite understandable. And there is a lack of trust. And the lack of trust is because the U.S. and the state of Hawaii and unfortunately the Office of Affairs.
Yeah, well, let me clarify that. Because you're bringing up a really good point.
Yeah. Just finish one time.
Yeah, well, the lack of trust, though, is all right. The perpetrators is the United States, and we want them to stop illegal abuses on us. But what I'm hearing is that you want OHA to pay attention to our people and to have better understanding about supporting that process. Because, but OHA also has contributed to that because there was a policy in place to seek federal recognition.
Right.
Now, there's a lot more people in our community now that don't want federal recognition. They want independence or true kingdomship, correct?
Yeah, right. Okay, so what's on the table is whether or not OHA is going to stop being a part of that abusive action toward our people. So that's basically what I wanted to say. So, okay, so hopefully we'll come out of this kuka with something that says that the Office of Hawaiian Affairs will no longer participate in the injury to our people.
Aloha, my name is Imakar, and I look at this place and I find myself in awe because where I come from, all these years, since I first started engaging in this reclaiming my identity, my Hawaiian identity, I've been watching a lot of leaders at the forefront, and it's been important to me to be able to come out and try to see if I can contribute. So what I'm proposing today is a solution. We can grumble all we like about whatever we think is wrong, but it would be kind of nice if we just come up with some solutions. And before I get to that, I would like to say mahalo to all of you leaders, because us guys on the inside in the prison system, we watch you guys, and we watch you guys fight, and for some of us who believe that we would like to be out there with you, we cannot. But now I'm out here, I'm going to do whatever I can to support our nation. One of the things we got to do, I think, OHA, if you like, see if you can make things right. Yeah, you say that you support us, that everybody can be included. Yeah. Okay, we have a problem with the road, right? Okay, a lot of people got a problem with the road. But check this out. Henry Noah get his group, Pompey get his groups, right? You guys all get numbers, yeah? All the groups, you guys get numbers, right? You guys get people that support you, right? If OHA would say, okay, you know what? We've kind of forced, you said you guys kind of forced to follow, to accept the road thing, right? You guys, that was a false play, right? Okay. You can say to your government, the United States, the state of Hawaii, okay, we're going to do the road thing, but we're also, because we're listening to our people, is going to accept the role from Henry Noah's group, Pompey's group, everybody's group. We're going to accept you guys, your numbers, bring them over here, and we're going to add them to the pot. You know what I mean? So whatever they say, whatever Henry's people say, whatever Pompey's people say, we're going to count. We're going to count that as part of the process, right? I think that's a good way because at least now they know that they have a say. You know what I'm saying? They have a say. And the other thing is, I always have a problem with the apology bill. And because this is an analogy I've been sharing with people. You get the thief, like me, I was on thief, right? Yeah. I will steal your car. Come on, I will steal your car. And then a couple months later, I kind of feel guilty about doing that. And I come to you coming out and I said, hey bro, I'm sorry bro. I'm sorry to steal your car. Everything goes between us. We shake hands, you tell me, yeah bro, it's all good. I get in the car and I drive off. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the apology don't really mean nothing because I still get your car. Yeah. So maybe OHA can, if you can tell the state of Hawaii and the United States, thank you for your apology, and on behalf of all people, could you please also return the car? You know what I mean? So, because they put you guys on the front line with us. You guys on the front line. So, you guys get the best opportunity right now to communicate to them and say, I'm not just your house nigga. You know what I mean? I represent the people, right? Which you said that I'm supposed to represent. And my people are fed up with you continue driving around in a car. So bring back the car and then we're all good. You know what I mean? So that analogy about what I just said, house nigga, don't get offended. I'm half black. And I'm going to tell you right now, I follow what Malcolm X said. You got the field niggas and you got the house niggas. I'm a field nigga.
I just want to summarize the comments, okay? Because the past speakers have shared upon it is the call for unity to come together. But that call has to be more clarified regarding moving forward about our process. I really applaud Leila, and I don't applaud Leila too much, but I do agree. You know, because part of I will have to admit, part of the Huikau is that you have different groups. And whether or not the leaders of these groups and your groups, if whether or not we're really willing to come to one process, that I do not know. But that has to be on the table, unless other people do have a process to propose. So that I really appreciate Leila saying that, because that also is creating confusion in our community. Okay, so that's one. Second, what has also been brought up is I think we could agree that the seized lands or national lands, otherwise known as ceded lands, that has to be on the table in the future. That must be on the table. So we have to have some kind of an agreement on that, and I think that is there. But I just wanted to summarize that, because I think those are very important points that a lot of us can agree on. Okay? So I'm going to go with Nelson and then you two.
By the way, I just got to say, as far as returning the car, no, send us back a chauffeur-driven limousine. Chauffeur-driven limousine.
Gotta be those big SUV ones.
Also with the labs, gotta be the water too, yeah?
Oh yeah, I agree. Land and water, I agree. Okay, Kikani.
Hello, my name is Nelson Armitage, born and raised in Hawaiian. And like Sister said, we gave it for rumble, we need the belt and worry. But with all respect, I look around this room and I see talent, I see aloha, I see wisdom, I also see experience. That, like the fourth PP, Tom. That's the worst one. But you watch us as we pick up fight among ourselves over lack of knowledge. This lack of knowledge comes from experience. Perfect example. I will walk you through 1893. What happened in 1893? We need to understand these levels. What happened in 1893? 1898.
The Nulis resolution.
Was it real or unreal? Okay, we're getting smart already. I don't even have to read a smart view. Okay, 1893, 1898. As annexation. What happened 1900, April 30th? That's when America became the pirate, the thief, the fraudster, the trickster. Okay? They started to now become the PD town. What they did was, they took all our government documentation, unlawful. International law played a big role of why we don't understand our authority, our proper identity about who we truly are. And what we possess is called a plenary authority. This plenary authority is an exclusive right that belongs to that proper claimant. That proper claimant is properly identified in the U.S. Apology Resolution. Properly identifies who we are. Why we don't understand who we are? Because after 1900, we keep walking up the steps, leading up to 59. What happened in 1959? Statehood. We all know that we were participation, we were the applicants, right? We're the Kanaka people, the prime principals, or the primary people that absolutely put that application together, worded it. We need to understand this. So this is where we can unlock the mass confusion. We weren't. Okay? That application today is at the United Nations, trying to still get passed. Yeah? 1959 Statehood Act. It went and it was properly identified after 1966. How many of you know what happened in 1966?
I graduated.
I still was putting my butt in the drops. But in 1966, the United Nations had an obligation under UN rule. Please fulfill your periodic human rights reports on the Kanaka Maoli people. Okay? How many of us know about this? Raise your hand if you know, please, so this is important. How many of you know about international periodic reports?
Section 73.
The periodic reports, and I will say what the chapter they were used for anti-toxin. Okay, that's a different chapter. Thank you, sir. But with all respect, these are the principles, and real simple principles we lack of knowledge, okay? Because, again, 1966, the United States was signatory to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This Universal Declaration of Human Rights is their obligation and responsibility. Now, I don't know how many of you dove into the records and understand what the responsibilities are. Well, who was the applicant in 1959, you guys? Who was? The folks know it was the NHPI and the AAPI. How many of you have knowledge about these two entities? It's called the Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Asian Foundation, and then you have what you call the Asian American Pacific Islanders. They've been stealing our identity from 1959, claiming to be the imposter. I'm the Hawaiian. Well, we suffer. This is what we call a surreptitious independent practice.
Who are
they? Excuse me?
Who are they? Who exactly?
The senator you know represents the NHPI. Then you have Mike Honda from Alaska, who's a senator, who's representing that.
The 442nd.
442nd.
Asia Pacific Island.
So these principles, we don't time, and we lose it. But make long story short, that's some of our biggest problems. And I know we're running this time, but my job is to make sure that we don't get cheated. Okay? So thank you very much.
Okay, we're only going to take two more. Will be Kikani Pa and then Anje, you guys. Because some want to get move forward into the groups, but we'll allow this discussion to move forward. Okay,
Everybody, I just want to make it clear that I just heard what he's talking about. We're not too sure who is it. Yeah, we're in this summit. How many of you guys have participated in Alpaca hearings when it came to this island? It was 5 days.
While we was waiting, you never show up.
It was 5 days. The flag never fly. The senators was all in place. Okay? They're supposed to have gone to each island to have the people that couldn't afford to catch a plane to come and voice their concerns. Okay? He just mentioned about the process. I submitted to Trustee Aluna a request as a beneficiary based on the sensitive issue is that because of the process that has been put together from Act 195, all his obligations should be to all people. They should come to each island in my request as a beneficiary so that the people can make a decision with all the trustees sitting on the table so there's no more excuse that who will follow and who will not follow. And it's called a Hawaiian government process panel. How many of you people understand what that means? This is serious, because right now, they're pushing on a process through Act 195, and it's not a loss, only like it when it's done, and it ain't independent. A Hawaiian government process panel means you lead us with 20 years that pursue sovereignty since the apology bill. I want to know what you did for my people. I want to know what you can provide, not just keep talking story, not just telling me about this and that. I want to know what you have that can directly take us to an independent election and not have the state legislature do it for us all over again.
All right. That's my take.
Okay? You come to Hawaii, I guarantee I'll give 5,000 people in your meeting. And it's no bullshit. Excuse me, I don't lie. Because they're fed up. They're not sitting on the fence. The education that we do with the airways on Kauai is me. And the plan come out to support our independence, willing to renounce the U.S. citizenship. Earlier, somebody stated, can we represent anything in a foreign country, such as China? How many of you believe as U.S. citizens we can vote on China process or Japan process? How many of you believe we can do that? So tell me, Kanaka, as U.S. Hawaiians, not Americans, they force us to be a U.S. citizen. How can we vote into our country that Kamehameha created as a nation, that Queen Lilokani preserved our inherent right as a U.S. citizen from another country? You tell me how that can work. That's how we talk about a process. If you and I can agree, we cannot vote on foreign election or participate in electing Japanese ministers or Chinese foreign ministers. How in the world can we, you as a U.S. Hawaiian, vote for Hawaii in the Hawaiian Kingdom and this nation? These are all valid questions that will come up in the international level.
That's true. That's true.
And somebody said earlier about repatriate. That person was right. In order for you to become naturalized, you need to expatriate yourself from that country to be accepted to be naturalized. Now for me, if I go back to the Hawaiian nation, I got to repatriate myself back to the Hawaiian nation. I don't naturalize myself, but we need a process in place. And sitting here, that's why I'm adamant about it. I ask over and over, where's the government process that is independent? Our leaders had 20 years to come to our people, so I asked, okay, enough of busting them all out because they've been model, came out true, they've been forced. Let's move on. Go to each island. Hawaiian government process panel. You guys, like the list of people, you come sit in a panel. Not to talk about, don't convince me about history. Come sit in a panel and convince me why should I go register with you to participate in an election to represent the nation. That's what I like know. Because right now, all I'm listening is the same thing when we go around in a circle.
Right. Totally.
Yeah? And this is what's happening. And like I said earlier, I cooled off a little, but I'm very angry. The color mine. Like I said, I love all you guys, man. You know, it's
it's the heaven that bring upon us, you know, that, because I might be informed and educated in different way than other people, but when I see what I'm talking about, what I've learned, we will come together today. We'll take this right now. It's done. If you guys see that, Bobby, all with respect, it's done. Who created this process? If you follow up on U.S. process, yeah, it wasn't us independently. And we're going to agree to extinguish that Aboriginal land title ownership that's called extermination. And I'm not bullshitting you guys on this one. I'm not flying smoke. Go look at the report that Senator Inoue told people that he did with the Alaskans. Yeah? This is real deal. And he made a daylight report in 1972 telling us people our future. We have the documents. So, I agree, he's dead, but you know what? I'm going to let this be. But how many of you will agree that all can come to each island to have a Hawaiian government process panel put out so that they can come? I'm sure we'll raise their hands.
Wouldn't come now.
Yeah, we'll come out but see. So this is where we stop. Okay? And I want to thank you. And call me if I'm offending anybody, but that's not my intentions. This is about our children, unborn children, progress to his natural land.
Okay, well, Andre is our final speaker today. We'll summarize and then we'll break up. Okay, Andre.
Aloha, Hawaiian. Aloha. Okay, I just want to put forward some ideas because we gotta start getting something power. If not, we're stuck in the mud. No more four-wheel drive and the tires blow ahead. So we gotta start getting something power down. And so I just wanted to reiterate that the way this process is set up, the way it's been designed and managed and handled and administered has been in a manner that has been not inclusive of our part as the Lahui, those of us who are going to be affected, and our descendants who will be affected by these decisions. And so we need to try to get in here and try to get some control, because this thing going to happen. And I'm not saying we got to participate. What I'm saying is we need to advocate for control. As Poka Lainui said yesterday, it's either it's pono or it's not pono. Can we agree on that? So let's just say, Mike Kai? Right. It is pono or it's not pono. So when I read the public notice that was published many times by Kanai Olovalu, it says very clearly here, and I'm reading the actual notice. I want you guys to think about this and remember this language. Native Hawaiians who choose not to be included in the official roll risk waiving their right and the right of their children and descendants to be legally and politically acknowledged as Native Hawaiians and to participate in a future convention to reorganize the Hawaiian nation. And as a result, may also be excluded from being granted rights of inclusion, citizenship, rights of participation, voting, and rights to potential benefits that may come with citizenship. For example, land use rights, monetary payments, scholarship. So they're telling us right now, Kanai Olovalu, get on board or get left behind, and you and your children and your descendants. I'm not saying this. This is what's published in the public newspaper in Kawaiola. So is that pono? No. Is that conducive to unity that we're all talking about? I don't think so. So what I'm saying is we got to challenge this role. We got to challenge OHA and implore, and more than implore, as Colette said, let's get it on, Colette. We need to work with Colette and get the OHA, the ad hoc committee, the staff, to listen to, as Kaleko said, the voice of the people is the voice of God. So, this is not inclusive. They're telling us. You play our game or you get left behind and your descendants will not be recognized as Native Hawaiians or citizens.
Right.
How dare anybody say that? That's shameful, bro. Shameful. So what I want to put forth to all of us here is, as we've talked in the last Kamauea, I really want to get down to some nuts and bolts, and I promise I'll try to be quick. Some of the key things that we talked about and that we agreed upon was unity, was we don't want to jeopardize independence.
Yeah.
We don't want to preclude independence. Kamana'o said that at the last Kamauea time and time again. OHA will be hands-off. OHA will only facilitate. OHA will not temper. OHA will not try to pre-design the outcomes. I don't believe OHA should be in DC lobbying. We talked about somehow this process needs to be separated from Act 195. That's important to all of us.
Yep.
We talked about having perhaps an alternate role. So if we don't like sign-off, we still can participate in decision-making processes. And we talked about, of course, the big one, the timeline extension. So what I want to put forth is let's get some traction here. And let's put forth to the Office of Hawaiian Affairs that maybe something, I'm just going to throw this out loosely, we enter into some kind of covenant, some kind of sacred trust agreement. Kamana'o can bring his nice big kanoa, and we can drink ava, and we can make the commitment in front of Ma'apua. Yeah? Because that's, to me, if I tell you something over ava, I don't keep my word. So we need to get some answers in decision-making process amongst ourselves and get commitment from OHA to honor these sacred trust agreements. And I think that we got to do this because we don't want to get stuck in revisiting history. It's important, but right now something's got to come out of this contraption or we're just spinning our wheels.
This shouldn't be the last meeting.
It shouldn't be the last meeting. I agree. I keep hearing of this ad hoc committee. The ad hoc committee is what designed this nation building process. You know, and people like Norma Wong were participating in that ad hoc committee, and she's not even an OHA staff member. What I want to put forth is we also want to tell OHA we want a seat or two on the ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
So when Colette goes back to the ad hoc committee, we have a voice on that committee. Right? It cannot just be Opoleona and Waihe'e and a few other people. Gotta have Lahui representation on the ad hoc committee. So that's what I'm saying. How can we, and we can talk about it more, but how can we move forward to get some commitments from OHA and lock it in some kind of palapala or sacred trust of I give you my word, whatever, we're all going to remember before man and all the gods that we're going to honor this thing. And I read OHA has this, OHA's statement of commitment on governance. Yeah, it's on the website. I read it very carefully. For me, it's not enough. It doesn't say much. It doesn't do anything really. It says they're going to be hands off, but that's not enough for us. We have deeper concerns. Again, so I'm going to read through this real quick and just try to hold apart this manao, yeah? We don't want to jeopardize independence or preclude independence or future land claims resulting from the overthrow. We want OHA to be hands-off and not politic in DC, not lobby for certain outcomes, not tamper with this process. I think it's important that there is community representation on this ad hoc committee. This thing needs to be separated from the illegal occupiers legislation, Act 195. And many people will not sign up for the role. They cannot be disenrolled or disinherited because they're not participating, not recognized as Native Hawaiians. And the timeline extension. So what I'm saying is, I'll be honest with you, I understand clearly the analysis of occupation, of jurisdiction and authority. But what I'm trying to say is this process, as I think we can all tell, it's going to happen. So we got to get in here and secure some commitments from OHA and make sure that we have a say, we have some element of control in our very own self-determination. Mahalo.
Give that to Leila. so she can.
Well,
see.
actually, she give that to Peely.
Oh, Peely.
So they can write that down.
We can attach it to Leila's request.
Okay. So, what I want us to think, going back, is because there's been tremendous comment and concern about process. Okay. So on the federal state side, I think we need to think about the process of being more open, because if we could get there and we exclude or leave out our other brothers and sisters, then we as a Lahui not gonna feel whole. So we really gotta think about how we all can try to get there. I think for the independence and the kingdom folks is really coming to grips with all of the different groups and what is your guys' collective mana'o on that process. A number of people have brought up a different role. I think that has to be discussed on both sides. And what I would highly encourage us all to think about is what's in the best interest of our Lahui. What is the best interest of our Lahui? I think what helps to be clear about the tension between both paths is there is not only the belief, but the strong now is that our kingdom still is intact. And by following the pipilacha, the branded pipi, if we follow this path of being branded, does that relinquish, does that cut us off from really the rights that we would have internationally of our kingdom?
That's important.
Yeah, that's important. Okay? But whether or not we can do that on the federal side, I think that's something we really got to address. And can we really have some confidence in the U.S. process?
You gotta remove the cancer, you gotta remove the cancer.
Yeah, I hear what you say, but I think we gotta let them talk about that, and then you guys talk about, we got all these groups. Henry's got a process he's proposed, and whether or not you guys think about that. Other groups have different processes. So I will break up into groups. For the independent guys, international recognition is in here in Mauliola. And the federal state guys are in the Limio Kalani Hall. Okay. You 1 minute, Bobby's got 1 minute, Poka, you got 1 minute. Okay, real quick. Fossa, you got 1 minute. Okay, no, come up, hurry up. Only 1 minute, okay? Bobby, Poka, Fossa, come up here. I don't like you.
The last the state, federal rec, and international group came up with a declaration. And I've been wanting to get back to that declaration since from yesterday, because that kind of started to tie us in with the federal and the state recognized supporters. And so through this whole thing that we're going through right now, I just like bring that to the attention that the group that was in the first group, because that's really important. We tied in the Independence International side with the federal and the state side, while the independence group in here was going at it with each other. So I'm happy because plenty of stuff came out, but I'm disappointed because we never get too much done. We only get like a few hours. But I like you folks know that I am in full support of where this process is going, so that there's no if and but you're hearing them from me, that I support OHA in what they're doing in this process. The road is out. And I spoke to someone who was really interesting because she was a delegate to the convention in Ahu. And she was a part of putting the legislation together. She told me, that all it was to get on the road going. the deadlines and all that, I don't know about that part, but I know that that role was just a role, because she's not a liar. And I worked with her a long time. And I just found that out this morning. I never realized that. So I push for and I support for more time if that's what's going to happen. But come time and they don't decide that, I'm jumping in and staying because I don't want it running away either. So I want you folks to know that. Okay?
Bob,
2 years.
I thought-
2 years.
I agree and disagree with some of the stuff that has been said here. My question is, who are we now to self-appoint ourselves because we happen to be at this meeting? To say that we are now to be representative of the Hawaiian people. Back in 1996, we said no limitations. Wherever you're from, as long as you have the cocoa, whether you're in jail, you're out of jail, you live any place in the world, you can participate in a process by which we elect delegates from the community. We have some delegates. Clarence is a delegate, Bumpy is a delegate, Dr. Nalawai is a delegate, I'm a delegate, Glenn is a delegate, Kaipua is a delegate, and Sister back there is also a delegate. We have delegates in here who had to face the Hawaiian people and in your own communities get elected. Not your organization when it sent you over here and now you will claim that you're supposed to be speaking for that group. If you talk about a process, if you talk about an open process, if you talk about a process that involves everyone without limitation, then what happened? Are we now to dump all of that, throw it aside and say, forget it?
Mike, you missing my point.
Wait a minute. Don't interrupt me. I never interrupt you, okay? All right. So all I'm saying, all I'm saying is that we need some orderliness. We need to respect our own history and not step upon it because you weren't elected, because your particular position was not adopted. This convention opened its doors to every person who wanted to participate in it. You folks were sleeping? Well, too bad. You snooze, you lose. We ready to come out with a proposal. But we are not getting the hearing that it deserves. And instead, you want to wipe all of that out and say, oh, we want to start again because we want to be included. We want to represent the Hawaiian voices. But you never even get elected for it. So you talk about respect, you talk about process. Well, let's talk about process. This is what has happened. This is what has happened. And a lot of you seem to be ignorant or refuse to admit that this is the process that we all agree to. We are ready to come out with a proposal, both for independence and for integration, under the belief that if we are to raise a Hawaiian nation, they consist of people with many different opinions. Let the people decide. Not for any particular group to say, no, it's only going to be my way or the other way. And the biggest shame of this meeting today was when Sister was trying to make her presentation, and then out of big mouths would not allow her to finish her statement. What happened to respect? We talk about organizing all of us, then every voice should be heard. Not only the big mouths, not only the people who will scream and then walk out. Hey, wait a minute, it's my turn.
No, wait, for you.
Time. You and her, both of us, confused.
There you go, an example of interrupting because you disagree with somebody else. It's not a question of who's right or who. No, not yet. It's not a question of who's right or who's wrong. If we cannot maintain a sense of unity, if we cannot maintain a sense of aloha, then we have just killed our own attempt to create the unity.
Yeah, totally.
That's all right.
Totally.
That's right. Okay, mahalo. I'm going to be very direct, very blunt. If my mouth switch come on, say kalamai. I honestly believe that we're here trying to force and push this carriage forward and the hostage behind. And I say that because fundamentally, we don't have trust. And the reason why we don't have trust is because there's a lack of honesty. And the reason why that trust, we can't get it back, and no matter how many rooms we break out into, we're going to be going in there, I mean, you're going to have the state and feds in one room, and then you're going to have the independents in the other room. We don't have trust to begin with, so you know what? Everybody going to split up already without any trust. So what's really lacking fundamentally is there's no confidence in this room. Right now, no matter what we say, no matter what I say, no matter what brother say, no matter what anybody says, there's a reason why there is a lack of confidence that we can trust each other again. And because of that, we are not standing on a secure foundation. And so we're setting ourselves up for failure, period.
Yes.
Okay? And one of the key components, and OHA, understand, I'm being direct, it's because there's a lack of honesty. Right now, we want to talk about independence, a nation building and all that. You know what? We got to rebuild, we got to restore, we got to have trust. We got to have confidence though. We're lacking confidence right now. I honestly say, if we break up into these rooms, we might as well go home. Power. That's it. I mean, not even bother go talk. We need to stay in this room. Okay, like Uncle Les says, we need to stay in this halepo. Como. Hey.
No,
stay in this room.
Are you asking confidence in OHA or confidence amongst each other?
At all. Okay? If we're going to talk about nation building, if we want honesty, if we want koko, if we want blokahi, you know what? It's not happening. Why do you think Kaleko stand up? Why do you think Andre stand up? You know what? I don't stand up with them. Why? Because I don't trust. Why do not I have trust? Because namu, promise, and then we're getting ill. I mean, that's it. So my suggestion for the remedy, for the rest of today, let's stay in this room as a whole, together. The trustees, the staff, the independents, the feds, the states. We need to have conversations amongst ourselves. Period. I disagree with almost everything that Popa says. And quite frankly, I'm surprised for a lot of you simply because, you know, I would think we can see what's really taking place. But we're kidding ourselves because we want these things. You know, we're focused on that. Like I said, we're pushing the chariot forward. And we're saying, hey, but this is what we need. This is what we got to do. But the horse stay behind. Oh, let's stay in this room, please. Thank you.
Okay, I know everybody wants to talk, but I think Foster has a great suggestion, but we need to have time to kind of talk about it.
So what I
We need some hippie sustenance right now.
We've been here for enough time. It's time for us to figure out what is going to be our end result of us. People watching statewide, about all of us in this room, coming together trying to figure out unity. And we've had our time to express all of our ideas, all of our manao, good and bad, up and down, through the heart. So we got from after lunch to whenever this thing will power for us to come up with concrete suggestions that we will present representing our group. Okay, we gotta make sure that we know what's gonna happen when we say we want more time. It has to be something that's gonna come from a document from this group. We gotta know that we want more than just Kanai or Walu that's gonna have to come from this group. We're gonna have to figure out what suggestions are we gonna put on the table about what processes we're gonna be recognizing, whether or not it's gonna be one process, it's gonna be a combination of processes. We gotta work this afternoon and come up with presentations and ideas to our people and to all. So what I'm suggesting is that we come in here and we work and we have all our staff write down all of the things that we say, that whatever we want to agree upon, we agree upon. And that's going to be a presentation. At least we'll have a working product And whether or not we want to do more get-togethers, I'm sure we're going to need more get-togethers, suggestions about how we're going to run the community, all those kinds of things we've heard. We got to put them on a piece of paper, and we got to make those suggestions coming from the entire group. So the breakout sessions, that's just a waste of time. We've had enough breakout sessions. Us working together, coming up with a product is going to be the challenge that we must undertake and we must do. If we're going to give something to our people, we're just wasting all our time again. So that's my suggestion.
You're supposed to say lunch ready, take the lunch break down.
And lunch is ready, we can have an early lunch, and come back as soon as we can come back so we can get to work and get something done.
Well, you know the time was here. That was the time that you see this as requested. That was the time that you had requested to be able to have all the independence guys first huddle and make some decisions among yourselves. So that was the time that I understood that was requested for the independence guys to have some time to huddle. So that's why it's on the agenda. And right now, just so you guys are aware, the guys who feel differently have some other ideas. They overlap with you guys, but that's not, they're obviously not like this, right? It's more like this. So they're having a really hard time being in this room right now and having a conversation with everybody. And so they would like some time to kind of regroup. And what I'm asking is, there's a majority of the time that's set for us to be in one group together. And that's really the whole afternoon. Right. So very few minutes between now and lunch. So we really have about half an hour. If we can allow everyone the time to go back into their, just like your ohana, when you get a big community, something going on, you need your own ohana time a little bit to huddle in your ohana. And then so that we can all come back together as one community. So if we can have some ohana time, our community is made out of many ohana. You need to huddle.
11:30 to 12:30.
So just 11:30 to 12:30, we have the time to work together in the different rooms toward the goal. And please do look at this, right? The whole point of this is to figure out how we can move together. How can we move together? That's the point of the discussion. But everyone's got to figure out how that their own mana'o can be put into that conversation of moving together in unity. People need some time. So just so you know, people really do want this time. So let's go right now. Again, the main question is, how can we all move forward together along the various pathways to reestablishing our nation? How do we do that? So everyone has in some part of the equation, state and federal recognition, will be meeting out in the Okalani Hall, and then those who are most interested in independence meet here. And again, we know they overlap. We're not saying they're separate. They overlap, but those whose interest is primarily in independence, we have time here at 12:30. We're going to pause for lunch.
Yeah. Okay. Before we break into our groups, can we call everybody inside?
Yeah,
come inside. Okay, call everybody inside. Please, Ako wanted to pull it before, because we really share a lot today. So let's come back inside. Come back inside, mahalo.
Okay. Mahalo. Thank you, folks. Thank all our families for coming together. Thank you for keeping the ball fish together. Hey. Yeah. And thank you for keeping the ball together. Because the prey coming from the bird would come, they move. They go line, they go circle, they go inside the papa, outside. The small mix up on the kupuna, everybody protecting each other. The little watching the fish. You get the model, the clouds coming over, and from the plane you cannot see which is the English school because of the cloud, the model. So we are the model right now. What we need to do, I think, with your permission, whatever group we're going, whether it's Pipilaka 1, Pipilaka 2, Pipilaka 3. We don't need to go Pipilaka 4. Whatever group or place we're going, this is what we gotta do. Before we go into one room, before you first come into the place without fully running, yes, a safe zone. A safe zone. Keep it simple. Police are at the room. Police are at the room. No more saying, the hell with you! Stop. We gotta go inside the room, every group. Take out that. If not, then we go home right now. This is the call. Hey, 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 hey. So we go inside the room, you know, mukumana-mana. Niho. You go inside the room, no. Listen to his body. Brothers, give everybody a chance now to put them around. Talio. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Colette. We're going to come together. She was like, hey, I'm going to leave her. Hey, I'm going home this afternoon. I don't even want to come back. But I need the trust. So we go inside the room, everybody. We go inside like this. You know, pull it and slow down. My God, pull it, slow down. Clean them out. Clean them out. Clean them out. And forgive me if I did anything wrong. Come here, you. Come here. God bless you for leading us up here. No. And you know, we go inside his room, and we go do this. Pulikako, let's pray. Okay, cool. Let us go into each holy pole so that we can kuka. So that we can ensnare its mind to the highest order.
Yes.
To the highest order. Yes. Nothing but the best. Clear. Beyond Pono. Beyond Pono. Because Pono is unreality. Beyond Pono. I like the word pipi laka. So when the people go inside, you know what laka means? Got it down. If you ain't got it down, the bagan natin, we're going to bust our fence. We're going outside the school. So we pray that when we go inside this room is sacred. This room is sacred. Everybody kuka. Excuse me again, so emotion. I make sense. Kuka, and we all pull together. So that when we go home, we feel good. You know what we're going to feel good? It's not about words. It's about spirituality. Yes. It's about akua. We all akua from day one. Yes. That's why we say, how about akua? The fish is akua, the whale is akua, everything that represents us before man was born. Yes. My guy. So this is what I say, akua. Bless us. Help us, guys. So, forgive me for saying this emotionally, but guess what? In Makena, I'm a good fisherman. I know my papa. I admire my fish. I love my fish. Yeah? And I can power my fish, keep them together forever. And they're going to hang out. Any maho, we come inside there. Hey. Okay, and we manage the fish and let them go holo, all safe. Thank you folks so much. Bless every room of this holly. Every room. bless, bring nothing but the good spirit. Bring our kupuna, listen to us. Kupuna, come listen to us. Kupuna, come listen to us. Mama, help me. Tutu, help us. From Molokai, from Lanai, from Kaholawi, from Molokini, from Hawaii, from Oahu, from Mokumanamana, all the way, all the way. Yeah, all the way. Bring them home. This is historic today. And Kalamai, and Lord forgive us. In the name of the Father, we bless this building. Of the Son, we bless this building. And of the Holy Spirit, we bless this building. Amen. Amen.
So at this time, the Independence International group will meet here. You guys talk story amongst yourself. Then the other group will meet on the other side. They will convene at 12:30 for lunch. Maybe 1 o'clock. Maybe we'll see if we can reconvene. Okay? Mahalo.